Hi everyone, my name is Dong. In this training video, I'll be introducing the SIPOC model, one of the most important tools in the defining phases of Six Sigma. What is the SIPOC? According to GitLab and Levin, SIPOC helps us identify key components of any process, who provided the inputs, who are the process did, what the output are, and who received them. It's a simple but powerful because it gives a completed overview before any improvement starts. SIPOC stands for suppliers, input, process, output, and customer. Suppliers provided inputs like people, department, and customer, and system. Input are material or information used for beginning the process. Process is the core activity transforming input into output, usually 4 to 7 steps. Output are the end products or service delivered. Finally, customers are those who receive the output, including internal or external. Now, we will tell why use SIPOC. Because it clearly defines the scope of the project, provided a high-level view of a process, identify customer or stakeholder and the needs, clarified supplies and inputs that impact output. And we also need to know SIPOC also linked to the voice of the customer. It helps you define who will interview in the VOC analysis. Now we will talk about how to create a SIPOC analysis. To create a SIPOC analysis, the team fills in each of the 5 columns from suppliers, input, process, output to customers by asking structured questions. Each column focuses on identifying who and what contribute to the process and who benefit it. This process helps the team define the scopes of the project, clearing key stakeholders, and identify relationship between inputs and outputs. For supplies, they are the entities that provide the materials, information, and resource required to execute the process. Suppliers may be internal, like department within the organization, or external, like a vendor, partner, and clients. We can ask like, where does information or material come from? Who are the suppliers? Is the human resource department a source of input? For example, in a hospital schedule process, suppliers include patients, referring physician, and the hospital information system. Input are the material, data, or trigger that enter the process from supply. They are often the fact that influence process performance and quality. We can ask a question like, what does the supply give the process? What effect do this impact has on the process? And what effect do the impact have on the output? For example, for pension scaling, Input might include appointment request, physician reference, and patient information. For process, the process is the sequence of major steps that transform input into output. It should be showed as a high-level flowchart, typically 4 to 7 steps. We can ask, what are the major steps of the process? Where does the process begin and end? Who perform each steps? In the example of hospital, we can find receiving appointment requirement, check physician and room availability, and data into schedule system, and confirm appointment with patient. Now for output. Output are the result of the process, the product, service, or information provided to the customer. They can be intended or unintended. Intended is the deserved result, like you have appointment, you have make the appointment for the recall. And we can ask the question like, what product or service does the process created? What output are critical to customer perception of the quality? And are they unintended outputs that cause issue? In the patient schedule, output including confirm appointment and appointment notification. And finally, the customers. Customers are the recipes and the manufacturer of the process output. They can be external customer, like patient, clients, or internal customers, like other departments in this organization. We can ask a question like, who are the customer or market segment of the process? How we identify the CTQs for each market segment, and how do outputs meet or fail to meet the expectations? For a hospital schedule process, customer including patients, physician, and the billing department. Now we know how to create a SIPOC analysis. Let's start with some simple example. We can look at the table. First is a fast food order process. The customer is both the supplier and the receiver here, and the input are the order and the payment. The process includes prepare and deliver the meal. SIPOC helps quickly visualize the who interact at each step. Second, we can look at the university admission process. The supply is the appliance providing all requirement documents. The process goes through review and decision making, and the output is an admission result. The student is the final customer. In conclusion, SIPOC gives a clear, concise view of the process before you dive into data and improvement. It ensures the team agree on the bounded key step and the customer interview. Remember, you don't improve what you don't understand, and the SIPOC is the first step to understanding. It's time confusion into clarity. Okay, that's all. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helps you understand and apply the SIPOC effectively in the next project.